Okay, let's talk about what to do if you have a gymnast who's kind of on the edge of could be pushed up to the next level. Maybe she's got most of the skills. Maybe she's just missing one, or her skills are not the best, versus she repeat the level that she's at. Build up confidence, do another season, get higher scores while also training up skills during that season. So this is a common scenario. It happens all the time where parents aren't sure what to do. Sometimes coaches struggle with this decision as well because they know that the gymnast wants to move up. They don't want the gymnast to feel defeated. Sometimes it can become a tricky situation. And so is it better to push your gymnast up to the next level? Or is it better to have her repeat a level? Now, the answer to this really depends on the gymnast. There's no clear-cut answer. It really depends on what kind of a gymnast you have, or what kind of a gymnast is in the mix here, how she feels. And so I think it's really important to ask a gymnast what her thoughts are on this. Now, the majority of gymnasts that I talk to, they don't love when they have to repeat levels. Most gymnasts don't. There are some who do. There are some who don't mind. There are some who maybe had kind of a shaky season and they don't mind repeating it because they feel like they're going to score higher and do better. And so they're looking forward to that. The majority of gymnasts do want to be bumped up. And usually that's because most of their friends are also going up to the next level and they don't want to feel left behind. Well, let's talk about what happens. If you have a gymnast who's kind of on the edge, maybe not having all of her skills that great, maybe even missing a skill, but you think she will be able to kind of pull it together for season. She goes and she competes. There's two scenarios. She could have a really tough season, score really low because her skills aren't up to par. Maybe she's still shaky on some skills. Maybe she's inconsistent. Got that gymnast. Or you have a gymnast who maybe needs the confidence boost of, I got pulled up to the next level. I'm with my teammates and now I'm going to keep up with them and prove that I belong here. You've got two types of gymnasts. So it's really going to depend on your gymnast. Are you going to have the one that's going to feel defeated by the fact that she's moving up to the level, but she's going to score poorly? Or are you going to have the gymnast who isn't so focused on scores, but uses that as motivation to work harder and to kind of pull things together to have a more successful season? On the other hand, you've got the gymnast who, let's say you decide to repeat the level, who is really defeated by the fact that she stay back and repeat it. She sees her friends moving up. She now thinks she's not a good gymnast. Maybe she loses motivation, isn't excited for that season, maybe even wants to quit gymnastics. She's a little upset here. You've got that gymnast, or like I said before, you've got the other gymnast who maybe is looking forward to a second season because she knows that she can train her up skills while perfecting the ones that she's going to compete that season. So that didn't answer any questions, but you can see how tricky this is because it really depends on a gymnast and her motivation, her level of frustration, her teammates, where she fits in best. I've known gymnasts who have had to be held back, and what happens is sometimes the younger kids, they move up to that same level, and then it's no longer a good fit for that gymnast because now she's stuck with some of the younger kids. Maybe she doesn't gel as well with those kids, and all of her friends and her teammates who are her age or who she's been with through many years are now into the next level, and she feels sort of isolated from them. So that's not a good situation either. So the other thing you can ask yourself too is, are her friends all moving up, or are a lot of them staying back? If them are staying back, then usually it's not so much of an issue for her to repeat the level because she wants to be with her friends. At the end of the day, you want a happy gymnast. That's what we're going for. So you have to figure out, is your gymnast going to be happier moving up to a level maybe that she isn't as skilled at or does have a lot of progress to make? Or is she going to be happier repeating the level, building up confidence, competing it, and hopefully getting better scores and feeling better about herself? It's important for you as a parent, especially, to have a conversation with your gymnast to figure out where she is mentally about the situation. Important to have a conversation with coach to find out what their philosophy is. Some coaches do not want to move gymnasts up unless they can successfully do solidly all of their skills. So sometimes there is not a choice there. Of course, you as the parent, you want to feel comfortable. You don't want to push your gymnast to do something she's not ready for and see her come home feeling defeated, but you also don't want your gymnast to be bored in the gym or feel like she's not as good of a gymnast because she's having to repeat while everyone else is not. So there's a lot of factors and variables here. At the end of the day, you've got to just sort of mull through all of the situations and figure out which is going to be best for your gymnast. No right way, there's no wrong way. It's the way that works best for your gymnast.